Hi and welcome back to blanchytalkswatches. For review today we have something that's a little bit special. We have the world's first review of the 960 dive watch. 960 are a brand new micro brand out of the UK. This is intended to be the first in a series of 3 watches from 960. The watches will represent sea, land and air and will all be military inspired. Obviously, this being a diver will represent the sea element of the trio. Okay, so first off, what comes with the watch? So obviously you've got the watch and you've got this nice canvas tool roll. Inside the roll you have a black and orange striped NATO, which picks up on the orange and black hands and dial. There will also be a black, grey and orange seatbelt strap, which wasn't included in this prototype but will be included with the production model. So the thinking behind this setup is it's inspired by military, as I said, and it's supposed to feel like something that's been issued from the military. So there's no frills, it's straight to the point, it's robust, the canvas feels nice, quite durable as well, a string tie just to close it. Nothing too fancy. In the production model you'll also get a card with a number for your watch. Okay, for the specs of this watch, this is not a small watch. It is 44mm in diameter. But what's interesting is the thickness. It's quite a thin watch for one that's so wide. At only just over 13mm. It's got a very nice low profile. Lug to lug length then is 50. Just about 50 there. So this is by no means a small watch, but due to the profile and the shaping of the case, it wears quite well even on smaller wrists. As for the case, this isn't just your run-of-the-mill case you see on many mod watches or micro brands. This is a bespoke case for 960. As for the dial, we've got a flat black with the 960 logo up the top, black hour hand, orange minute hand and an orange pointer second hand. As I said in my unboxing video, the pointer style always reminds me of a GMT hand, which I think is quite nice. Rated to 200 meters, so this is a proper dive watch. The colouring of the lume on the indices and the hands is a yellow, creamy yellow, giving a vintage feel to the watch, and the lume does work. I'll turn off the light now so you can see. So it picks it up quite nicely on camera. It can be difficult to catch lume, but as you've seen there, this has picked it up quite well. What I have noticed about this lume is it's not the brightest off the bat. I think what you're seeing on screen here is a pretty accurate representation of how it looks in person. But what I have found is, while it may not be the brightest lume when you initially walk into a dark room, it does last very well. I know some other brands have incredibly bright lume straight off the bat, but then it fades away quickly, and that is not the case here. I've been wearing this watch for about a week now, and I've checked it multiple times during the night, being up and down, and even at 6:30 in the morning when it's still pitch black, you can quite clearly read the time. As I've said, it's not shining like a torch, but you can most certainly make out the time, which is all you need. I kind of feel like it's a bit of a nod to the military heritage of the watch, as you want to be able to see it at night, but you don't want it to be giving away your position. So I don't know if that was intentional, but that's how I like to think of it. Okay, so for the diving bezel, this is a 120 click bezel, and as I said in the unboxing video, there's very little play in it. It's not too hard to turn, but the sound and the feel of it rotating is absolutely perfect. Honestly, this is the best feeling bezel I have to hand. I want to say it's the best I've ever felt, but I can't be sure. I can't exactly remember how good some of the other ones have felt, but this is definitely up there with one of the best bezel actions I've ever felt. It's got sapphire crystal, and I believe it is a ceramic bezel insert. Solid stainless steel bracelet, which has a good weight to it. You can see the engraving on the case back there, sapphire crystal, stainless steel, 20 atom water resistant. There is also a signed crown engraved, and same on the pressed clasp. It is engraved. I've had no issues at all with this clasp popping open. Once it's closed, it's closed. It fits perfectly. The fit and finish on this watch is phenomenal. Great example is the solid end links that fit the watch absolutely perfectly, as if they were built into it. There is no play at all. They just fit perfectly. The tolerances are so tight, there is no movement at all. Just want to take a second to talk about 960, the brand. So first off, their logo here, I absolutely love it. As a designer, I look for nice, simple designs, and I think this really stands out. At first glance, this logo here just could be any icon that was created for the brand, but when you dive in a little bit closer, there's hidden meaning in this. So first off, the brand 960, we've got the 9 on the outside, 6 getting close to the center, and then the 0 in the center. I love logos that have hidden meanings, and I think this one is done very, very well. It's nice, it stands out, and it's not gimmicky. It looks well on a dial and on branded material. Another aspect to this is personal for the brand owner, Christian. So his thinking behind this is, not only does it include the 960, it's also a maze. So as you can see here, you can work your way around to get into the center. So what this comes from is Christian himself is ex-military. He joined when he was 16, and that was a really formative experience for him, and he said that the military helped shape the man he is today. So having a logo that's a maze, that you find your way, really shows the spirit of what he's trying to achieve here. It's not just military inspired. He is ex-military, he's lived it, he knows exactly what it's like, and he wants to create a watch that he would have been happy to wear when he was out carrying out his duty. So this prototype currently has the Miyota 8215 movement, which in itself is a very reliable movement, but it does suffer from the second-hand stutter. As you can see there, if I give it a good shake, it stops for a second and then catches itself. So Christian wasn't happy with this. It's good enough for a watch for himself, but he wanted better for his customers. So what's happening is he's going to upgrade the movement to a Miyota 9015 for the production model. There'll also be some other couple of tweaks, like the second hand will just have a little bit of a tail on it. I'll try and insert a picture now of the changes, but they're all good changes, and I think it really stands to a brand when they get a prototype made. There's nothing wrong with it per se, but they want to improve it for their customers. I always think that shows class, that it would have been easier for them to just leave it with the 8215 movement and it would have been fine, but to step up to the 9015 I think is great, and it shows that he really cares about reliability and the quality that his customers are going to receive. So it's a big plus in my book to upgrade the movement between the prototype and the actual production model. Okay, so without further ado, we'll try it on the wrist and see what it looks like. So for reference, my wrist is 7¼ inches, so a 44mm watch would be quite large for me, bigger than I'd normally wear. But you can see there, it fits me quite well. That is by and large down to the height being quite low and also the comfort of the watch. I've been wearing this every day now for approximately a week, and I tell you, I have not wanted to take this off even for photographs. I've delayed taking pictures because I just didn't want to take it off my wrist. It's honestly very rare that I come across a watch that I like this much so quickly. The last watch that hit me as hard as this one was the Mitchell Raider, and that is currently my favourite watch in my collection. I'm really not looking forward to sending this watch off to another reviewer. I wish I could keep it, but unfortunately it must do its global tour. I think if this was in my collection, I'd absolutely be putting it in my top 3, and the longer I wear it, the more I like it. It's just so comfortable. I've slept with the watch on, I've swam with this watch on, and it's just been absolutely brilliant. As I said, 44mm, quite large for me. 42 tends to be my sweet spot. I do have some 43, 44mm watches as well, and honestly, while I do like bigger watches, I find myself having some issues with the comfort. Especially, I usually wear my watches in bed. The bigger ones I tend to take off. They're just not comfortable when you're sleeping, they get in the way. Not an issue at all with this. Such a lovely side profile. You can really see the indents in the bezel here are just gorgeous. Again, it's not something you see every day. The market is quite saturated with dive watches, but for something to stand out can be challenging, and I think this really does. The classic in appearance, the creamy yellow indices are nice, but it has presence on the wrist with the size, it has the comfort being low, and the bracelet is very, very nice. In terms of comfort, the closest watch I could probably relate this to that I've worn would be the Omega Seamaster 300 meters, the 41mm version that I wore for a review a couple of months ago. Well, this is 44mm. It feels very similar. The level of comfort is quite close. Honestly, it feels like I'm wearing a lot more than £500 on my wrist. It just has that presence. So, as you can tell, I'm a massive fan of this watch. I will hopefully add one to my personal collection in the near future, and absolutely recommend that you pick one up yourself. These are actually going for a great price. They are going to be £499, but if you pre-order, you can get it for £399, which is a fantastic price for the watch, especially with a 9015 Miyota movement in it. I think it's great value. Again, it's just very nice side profile. For those worried about the lug to lug, you can see it does dip down. 50mm lug to lug. The male end link. There was only a thread on Facebook there asking today about how people feel about the male end links on bigger watches. It's no issue at all on this because of the curve down. It just hugs the wrist very nicely. I don't know if you can see it there, but it just curves around the wrist on both sides. Doesn't look too big at all, and again, my wrist is only 7¼ inches, and it's perfect. It doesn't look too big on me at all. I know the trends for a lot of watches recently have been getting smaller and smaller, but I think this could absolutely buck that trend and be very popular. As I've said, 960 are hoping to come out with 3 watches, and I honestly think if the quality is as good as this one or better, they're really going to take off. So I think this is a great chance to get in at the ground level of a brand. I can really see 960 going places with the quality they are producing. So I'd say get on to the Facebook page or email. I'll link them below in the description I believe their website should be live by the time this review goes up. If not, I'll add it into the description once it does go live. But yeah, I'm surprised how much I like this, to be honest. I thought I'd like it from the videos and pictures that I was sent before I got the review piece in, but I have to say I've been absolutely blown away by this, and I really don't want to send it off, but it is going to be winging its way in a couple of days to my good friend Julio over at Split Second Watch Reviews. So if you want to see his take on it, I'll link his channel down in the description as well, so make sure you follow him and see what he thinks. Be good to see his take on it. I don't know if anyone's going to like it as much as I do, because I'm absolutely floored by it. Yeah, I'll definitely be looking at adding one of these to my collection in the future, because it is just gorgeous. Zoom in on it there. Yeah, it's classic, but it's just beautiful. So just want to make it clear, I have not been paid for this review at all. This is totally honest. I'm getting nothing for this other than the privilege of seeing the watch, and I just happened to be closest to Christian when he was sending them out, so it landed with me first. So yeah, totally my own opinion, no influence at all from the brand. But I think they're going to be limited to 200 pieces, so I'd say jump on it while you have the chance. This brand is going places, so get in early when you can, and yeah, fantastic watch. So let me know what you think in the comments. Do you have space for another dive watch in your collection? Do you think 44mm is too big? Or would you consider trying it now after seeing how well this fits on my wrist? If you could drop a subscription and a like below, that really helps me. About 90% of my viewers aren't subscribed, so click on that button there and you won't miss any future content. And thanks for watching.